Katherine Hepburn was a legendary figure with over 50 films under her belt across 6 long decades and 4 Academy Awards for Best Actress, a feat still unmatched to this day. But behind the scenes, it was as though the shadows of tragedy and sadness followed her every step from childhood up to her deathbed. From having to cope with loss every step of her life to dealing with life-threatening ailments one after another, this is the shocking story of the iconic actress Katharine Hepburn. Katherine Horton Hepburn was born on May 12, 1907 in Hartford, Connecticut. Her parents, Catherine Martha and Dr. Thomas Norval Hepburn, were quite a dynamic duo, a suffragist and a doctor. Even as a kid, Catherine was a bit different. She was a total tomboy and liked to call herself Jimmy. People weren't always cool with that, but her brother Tom totally had her back and they were super close. Everything was going pretty smoothly until tragedy hit like a ton of bricks. In 1921, when Catherine was still in her teens, she and her brother were in New York City during Easter break. And on a very dreadful day, Catherine found her beloved brother Tom dead. It seemed like he had taken his own life. This devastating loss weighed heavily on young Catherine's heart. She became nervous, moody, and suspicious of people, especially around other girls her age. She withdrew from school, bid adieu to Oxford, and opted for private tutoring. The loss was so impactful that for years, she celebrated her birthday on Tom's birthday, November 8, instead of her real birth date. It wasn't until she wrote her autobiography in 1991 called Me, Stories of My Life that she finally shared her true birth date. So, back in 1924, Hepburn joined Bryn Mawr College, but she wasn't too thrilled about it. She only went there to make her mom happy, who had studied there too. College was tough after being away from school for so long, and she had a hard time keeping up with her studies. And to make matters worse, she got caught smoking in her room and ended up getting suspended. Catherine had a thing for acting, but to get roles in college plays, she needed good grades, and her grades weren't exactly great at that time. Therefore, she buckled down, studied hard, and things started looking up. After graduating, she headed to Baltimore to meet a theater guy named Edwin Knopf, who gave her a shot in his play, The Czarina. Her first performance got great reviews, but the second show didn't go as well. Some folks criticized her shrill voice. They said it was too loud and annoying. But fate smiled upon her again. Knopf decided to produce another movie and chose her as the understudy for the leading lady in his grand production, The Big Pond. You could say luck was finally on her side, as the initial actress was fired, and Hepburn got the shot in the spotlight, just like she'd hoped. But as the night of the big premiere arrived, so did a storm of misfortune. Nerves and pressure overwhelmed Hepburn, and she stumbled into a series of heartbreaking blunders. She arrived late, and lines vanished from her mind like fleeting whispers, and her feet betrayed her on stage, leading to a clumsy dance. To make matters worse, she spoke with such haste that nobody could grasp her words, leaving the audience puzzled. Her dream was shattered in an instant. The verdict was cruel and swift. Hepburn was fired and replaced by the original leading lady. It was a crushing blow, leaving Hepburn broken and humiliated. The dream she held so dearly had slipped through her fingers like grains of sand, leaving her with nothing but pain and regret. In that heart-wrenching moment, Hepburn vowed to herself that she would rise from this sorrow and prove her worth. Little did she know that this setback was just a chapter in her journey and that life had many more surprises in store for her. In 1929, Hepburn had a chance to join the Theatre Guild for a lead role in Death Takes a Holiday. She thought it was a perfect fit, but once again, fate dealt her a cruel blow. She was fired. It's like she had this strange magnet for getting fired, and nobody could figure out why. Life just seemed to throw hurdle after hurdle her way. Then, in early 1931, she got cast in Art and Mrs. Bottle on Broadway. Finally, a glimmer of hope. But heartbreak struck once more when the playwright decided he didn't like her at all. He said the meanest things, calling her appearance dreadful, her manner off-putting, and he even had the audacity to claim that she had no talent. She clung on to hope, and in a stroke of luck, she got rehired when no one else could be found for the part. The play had some success, but it felt long overdue, a taste of victory after enduring so much disappointment. In the summer of 1931, Hepburn found herself in Ivoryton, Connecticut, performing in various plays with the Summer Stock Company. The audience loved her, and she felt she was on the cusp of something great. During this time, she got the attention of Philip Barry, who invited her to star in his new play, The Animal Kingdom, alongside Leslie Howard. Excitement filled her heart as she began rehearsals in November, believing this could be the role that would finally make her a star. But her dreams were crushed once more. Leslie Howard didn't like her either, and before she knew it, she was fired. When she mustered the courage to ask Philip Barry for the reason, his words cut deep. He bluntly said, "Well, to be brutally frank, you weren't good enough." It shook her self-assurance, leaving her feeling uncertain and vulnerable. Miraculously, luck was finally on her side again. She landed the lead role in The Warrior's Husband, a Greek fable, and as time went on, Hepburn's career seemed to be soaring to new heights. Great film offers came her way, and she even achieved her first Academy Award, a tremendous accomplishment. But beneath the glitz and glamour, whispers began to circulate about her aloof demeanor off-screen and her refusal to conform to Hollywood's expectations. She always wore slacks and went without makeup, refusing to play the Hollywood game of posing for pictures or giving interviews. While some saw her uniqueness as something to applaud, others were shocked and put off by her unconventional behavior. It was so bad that between 1935 and 1938, she experienced only 2 hits, but many more failures. The strings of flops led her to be branded as box office prison, a label that felt like a heavy burden to bear. Now, you might be thinking, did Hepburn ever get swept off her feet in a wild world romance? Well, her only marriage was to Ludlow Ogden Smith, a charming socialite businessman she met during her college days. They tied the knot on December 12, 1928, when she was just 21 and he was 29. You see, her marriage to Ludlow Ogden Smith started with hope and promise, but as time went on, her heart was more devoted to her career, and her passion for acting overshadowed her commitment to the marriage. The relationship later crumbled, and Hepburn filed for divorce in Yucatan on April 30, 1934. But she couldn't shake the haunting feeling that she had taken advantage of Smith's love because he was very supportive. After her marriage came to an end, Hepburn found herself entangled in a complicated affair with her agent, Leland Hayward. Despite Hayward's proposal after both of their divorces, she declined, seeking to be her own independent self. The affair lasted for 4 years, but in 1936, while she was on tour with Jane Eyre, she began another relationship, this time with the entrepreneur, Howard Hughes. Hughes wanted to marry her, and the press speculated about their impending nuptials. However, Hepburn remained focused on resurrecting her declining career, and they eventually separated in 1938. Love came and went, but for Hepburn, a dedication to her craft and the quest to revive her career took precedence over all else. Hepburn made a firm decision not to remarry and chose to forego the path of motherhood. She believed that being a mother required an all-encompassing commitment, one she couldn't bring herself to make. "I would have been a terrible mother," she admitted, acknowledging her own selfish nature. Throughout her life, there were rumors about her sexuality, with whispers since the 1930s suggesting she might be a lesbian or bisexual. Hepburn would sometimes make jokes about it, but in a documentary, a close friend, columnist Liz Smith, attested to the truth of these rumors. But amidst all the speculation, there was one person who held a special place in Hepburn's heart: Spencer Tracy. Theirs was a love story that endured and captivated Hollywood. They starred together in 9 films, and in her autobiography, she described her feelings for Tracy as something unique and all-encompassing. Tracy was initially hesitant about Hepburn because of her dirty fingernails, but she felt an irresistible pull towards him from the very beginning. Unfortunately, Tracy was already married to Louise, so the love between Hepburn and Tracy had to be kept hidden from the public eye. As life moved on, tragedy seemed to linger, striking one blow after another, catching her off guard. Her health began to falter not long after her final appearance on the screen, leading to a hospitalization in March 1993 due to exhaustion. The winter of 1996 brought another hospitalization, this time for pneumonia. Signs of dementia emerged in her final years, casting a shadow on the brilliant mind that once graced the silver screen. By the turn of the millennium, she had become a private person, withdrawing from the public eye. In July 2001, she faced another bout of pneumonia and a urinary tract infection, further draining her strength. The year 2003 brought a devastating discovery, an aggressive tumor in her neck. The decision was made not to pursue aggressive medical attention, and she succumbed to cardiac arrest on June 29, 2003, at the Hepburn family home in Fenwick, Connecticut. The world mourned the loss of a true icon, a legendary actress who had graced the screens with her talent and charisma for decades. The journey of her life had been filled with highs and lows, triumphs and struggles, but in her final moments, she was surrounded by her loved ones, leaving behind a legacy that would forever be etched in the hearts of those who admired her. If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll also enjoy the one showing on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.